Check it. We back with my homeboy, Tony Braxton, the author, the man behind the stocks who will get your trades right and get you right, financial literacy. We catching up. We have the podcast called Out and About. You can check that out when we out and about in the streets and digital space, making it happen, talking to other people. But right now, I'm talking to my homie, my man, Tony Braxton. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a drink because my man only drinks.
Absolutely.
And
cranberry juice on top of that.
We made our drinks. Now we back with Tony Braxton, a.k.a. Coach TB. I want to rap to you about what's going on in the business things, in the business world. The stock market has been going crazy. Some people making money. Some people been losing money because I guess they don't have the right strategies involved and to win.
Right.
And when you break down business, stock trading is a big part of it. We sort of cover some of that on the Out and About podcast.
Right.
But I really want to dig into what you got to say because the last episode that I did with my man Changa, shout out Changa for being on the other podcast, and we were talking about 1 + 1 = 3, developing boundaries, sort of like contracts and things of that nature. So what's been going on with you, Coach TB?
Cheers, man.
Oh,
Cheers. Salute. Yeah.
Before we get started, like I said, this is not a bar craft conversations, but we are at the bar having a drink. It's coming soon, so stay tuned. But yeah, back to you, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, that 1 + 1 = 3 thing is kind of, it's a little on the deep side where it's though it's pertaining to existence, in order for you to take 1 and 1 and make it into something that has to be you that does it, which is the third party, which that's where the 3 come in at. So 1 and 1, it only can be 3 because you are saying 1 and 1 is something.
Yeah, you multiply your actions and it creates another thing.
Exactly. So that's where the 3 come in at. So yeah, man, speaking on the market is volatile right now and it's up and down. But being in it as long as I've been in it, I'm able to read these things. I've seen situations like what's going on or what's occurring in the market today. I've seen that before over time and over the past years, and you just able to read it. There were times where certain events, catastrophic events or Mother Nature or whatever causes certain things to happen, which will move the market.
So you got to be able to adjust. And you said there's patterns like the Fibonacci pattern and some other things.
Yeah, well, basically the Fibonacci and the Bollinger Bands, they basically going to give you indicators on what the market is doing and what it has done in the past. Mm-hmm. But what I'm speaking about here is events that occur that makes the market move, like Hurricane Katrina or certain tornadoes out in the Gulf that will disturb the oil market, right? Okay. Because of the drilling out there.
So you're talking about commodities?
Yeah, that particular one is a commodity, but really, generally speaking, we're talking about like this new administration is what is occurring right now for us to take a look at and read and see how it's going to move the market, which way it's going to move the market. Mm-hmm. And if you pay close attention to it, they pretty much will tell you basically what they're doing, because what I think is going on right now is a good old buddy program that's going on in the market.
So you saying your network almost amounts to your net worth sort of kind of type of thing is happening.
Basically, that's what it is. They say, look at the 5 people that you hang around and you looking at your career. You looking at how you going to be and where you going to be at, right? Type situation. But with this administration, what they're doing is they're causing a disruption in the market because they know they're in place to do such, meaning calling for tariffs for all the countries around the world or calling for harsh tariffs on China is going to move the market one way or another when we've been doing business with China for so many years now, and our supply chain actually runs through China. So if you go and say we're going to stop China or we're going to stop that supply chain, it's going to have an effect on most businesses in this country, because most businesses, depend on China. So in that case, that's when I would advise my students or my team to short the market at that particular time, because the market will go down.
Basically, what I'm hearing is that for so long, we've really been a global economy at this point, which we still are. And talking about the tariffs is making a global shakeup in the economy when it comes to doing everyday business that affects you, which is one of the things that if you learn about Pestle, we talk about political, economical, and the other changes that affect your business. And not everybody's into the politics thing. I'm not a big political person, but I stay up on politics because it is one of those factors that do affect me as an entrepreneur being in business. I try to navigate, terrain as best as I can without getting caught up in a lot of things that I don't necessarily agree with, but I understand and know how to navigate around those things if it makes sense.
It's like driving on a curvy road. We don't like curvy roads, but we learn to drive on them so to stay on the road so that we don't have an accident. So that's what, looking at politics is, even though you might not like that curvy road, but you better pay attention because it can have an effect on your life, and especially if you're an entrepreneur. And, most entrepreneurs are tied to the stock market. Mm-hmm. Most businesses are tied in some way, some form of fashion to the stock market. So if your business is tied to the market and there's something that can cause the market to move one way or the other, up or down, then I think we should pay close attention to it. But like I said, they'll make it known, like when the election happened, the excitement behind it caused the market to go up. People were excited. Mm-hmm. But then when he came in with the tariffs and talking about putting high tariffs, 145% tariffs on China, that caused the market to go down, mm-hmm. right? So you just got to pay attention. And then about the week and a half or 2 weeks ago, all his people were saying, man, listen, you causing the market to go down. And he said, don't worry, I'm going to cause it to go back up. So all of them put themselves in position for the market to go back up. He actually came and sent a tweet and said, hey, this is a good time to buy. The market is about to go up. And sure enough, the market went up a great deal, high as it ever went before, just by him making that tweet. So being in the market and reading my book will help you understand how to, like you said, traverse these grounds when it comes to which way the market is going to go, up or down type situation.
A lot of people's lives are being switched up. There was like mass firing of government workers. A lot of programs have been cut. And so happens that Baltimore City, some of our biggest employers are Johns Hopkins, which gets a lot of subsidies from the government. Schools is like another big employer in Maryland, which a lot of funding has gotten messed around. They had the big thing, I guess it was Harvard, and something was going on with that. So just because you are not necessarily in the market, it does have an effect on you, believe it or not.
Absolutely.
You deal with these banks, which are part of the market. You deal with your employers who put your money that you're saving in the market. So with you being a day trader, you actually are actively in the market versus being passive in the market, which a lot of people are. Yeah. Not everybody trades stocks and stuff like that. We talk about stocks a lot, and what's going on in the market. I really appreciate that because it keeps me sharp. And we get to talking about different things, especially with the investment club, making compound interest and all of these things. So to me, it sounds like it's very important to be aware of your surroundings.
That is true. I mean, being an entrepreneur, one of the most essential parts of being an entrepreneur is being able to forecast. You have to be able to see down the road and try to give an estimate of what you think is about to happen in your business or what should happen, what contracts you got coming up, what plans you got going, where you want to be in 6 months, where you want to be in a year. So it's not strange to me what's going on in the market. It's normal to a person like me because I understand that business is cyclical. It's always up and down. And the market has been going up for the past 2 years. So, I mean, you're going to expect it to pull back at some point because if it's cyclical, it's not going to continue to go up. It's going to come down and then go back up. So that's the period that we're in right now. We're in the period of the market pulling back from going up for the past 2 years. And it just so happened the reason the market is pulling back is based on some of the things that this new administration is doing right now. So I expected it. It's normal and I prepared for it. And I try to prepare my peoples for it too by giving them that outlook in the future of what could happen in the market.
Some of these things have actually already occurred at one point in time in history.
Right.
So there is sort of a benchmark for some of the things that actually are transpiring if you are aware of them.
Yes.
Like I said, going back and being aware of your environment and surroundings and knowing your history of where you are, where you've been, where you came from, where your ancestors and the people before you have experienced in life. So being a coach, you start getting these insights on, like you said, things that you should do and should not do, making an educated guess at the best way to predict the best likely outcome. Because there is no crystal ball, but we want to hedge our position the best that we can and make the best returns.
Yeah, you want to make the best returns on your market, on your money, and sometimes that's going to require you to look into the future, and try to guesstimate or forecast what you think may happen. So if you're noticing that the market has been going up, then you're going to actually be looking for a pullback for a reason for a pullback. And when someone comes up with a day late dollar short strategy, then you know it's going to be, the market's going to pull back. Now, the reason why I say this country has always been a day late and a dollar short is because, like you just said, tariffs have been talked about for years, and tariffs have been implemented before, but it's too aggressively implemented this time, and it's late because we lost a lot of our manufacturers to China because of cheap labor. And they thinking that there's a magic wand that they can wave of tariffs that's going to bring those manufacturers back. But that's not true at all, not even by a long shot. I mean, to get our labor costs down, and especially down enough to compete with China, is going to be nearly impossible. So you have to have another attack on how to get manufacturers back to this country versus just raising tariffs, because raising tariffs is just going to cause a disruption. And actually, it hurts the people because most of the time consumers pay the tariffs anyway. So that's not a good way to try to get manufacturing back.
I also look at the available resources to produce certain things being readily available in certain geographic areas.
Right.
As well. I get what you're saying with the labor costs and also access to materials to produce the things that it takes for the laborers to work.
Right.
So when those deals were originally made back then in globalization and specialization, we didn't have certain manufacturing robotics and technology that's available back then to now.
Right.
So if you're not aware of the advancements in technology and you're talking about bringing back manufacturing jobs here, I don't think you're really talking about apples to apples. I think you're more talking about apples to oranges because of the way the technology has changed. Now, a lot of these manufacturing companies are using robots to actually do a lot of the skilled labor that people used to do.
Right.
But if you're not aware how the manufacturing process is, you may think that, oh, we're going to bring manufacturing back here.
Right.
But it's not going to look the same that it did when manufacturing was here back then. So now you're talking about a whole different skill. So even if we get manufacturing back here, we're talking about training a whole new workforce. Where's the workforce going to come from? Who knows how to do it?
Right.
Chances are those people are going to come from other places who know how to do it and have to train these other people, or these people won't have to go to school and train. So now you're talking about an economic gap and lag of doing it. It's like a person going outside and not checking the weather.
Or think about it like this, being a successful nutritionist. In this country is an overweight man. And as a nutritionist, are you going to tell him to just stop eating completely, starve yourself? No, because then that person can die, right? So you have to gradually implement plans to bring that weight down to get you in good health. And that's how this country is. You can't just say, all right, nothing else from China. We charge you 155% tariffs. You can't, I mean, you have to gradually implement that. I hear what you're saying, whereas though we could get the cost down, which is right because of robots. It's true, but you just can't turn a light switch off and just be like, we're cutting out our supply chain, because that's going to affect everyday people, everyday consumers like us, which is going to send the country into a what you call a recession. Meaning, if you was trying to get this overweight man's weight down and you tell him just to stop eating, he can have a stroke or a heart attack just from stop eating. So that's what we're in the process of doing now, stroking the country or making the country have a heart attack, possibly going into a recession, rather than, strategically thinking about the process and laying out a plan, a strategic plan that's going to bring the weight down of this country and get our manufacturing back, implementing robots at the same time. They just going about it wrong. It's a good idea, but the way they're going about it is going to hurt the markets.
I guess the question is, who knows of these plans and who's going to benefit of it? Because there must be some type of plan out there.
No, it's just like a bad nutritionist. I mean, he's telling me he can make you lose weight just by telling you stop eating. Just bad doctors, just like anything else, bad mechanics, bad presidents and bad politicians. It's just they're around. Greed is a vicious thing, and this country is a greedy country, and they were so greedy that they wanted to pay less for labor costs, and by them paying less for labor costs, they hurt the country by making more poverty. And actually helping China to come up to our level, because China was a poor country, but now they on the same level as us as far as the military and the likes. But so it's hard to try to tell a doctor that he don't know what he's talking about. That's just one of them things. It's hard to do, but our job is to be able to read what's going on and act accordingly, especially when it comes to trading in the market. You want to be making the right decisions and being able to have an outlook of everything that's going on and try to describe it or understand it will have you doing better in the market than most if you're able to see exactly what's occurring.
It's just like, it's more or less not getting caught up in so much of everything, but having a strategy and knowing how to adapt to certain situations in life, period, is what you really have to sort of master. Absolutely. In order to navigate the market in life, running a business, going outside, going on vacation, whatever the likes of it is just being adaptable and understanding that you need to have a strategy. Is like having a raincoat in your backpack.
Right, being prepared.
Yeah, not saying that it's going to rain, but chances are it might rain. If you look at the forecast, you might be able to tell it may rain. It may say 50, 40, or 30 or 20% likely of rain. But you have to understand where you are geographically and what the weather person is actually predicting.
All variables.
Yeah, because it's not exact science. They have tools and technology that helps them predict the weather, but just like the weather changes, the market changes.
Now, speaking of raincoats, man, I recall when I was in high school, I kept a raincoat in my backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
You never know.
You never know. You never know.
So, Coach TB, we're getting down to the bottom of our drinks. I almost see the bottom of it here.
Yeah.
And before we get there, please let the people know about how they can get with you.
Yeah, well, right now I'm running a special on my course. Right now we got a 2-month course where it teaches you the basics and teaches you one strategy that you can use to make money in the market. That course right now is on sale for $3,500. It's a $10,000 course, so take advantage of that. Just like my book, I had my book on sale for $40 for a while when I first published it, and I told people, I said, hey guys, you want to jump on it now because the price is going to be going up. Right now, the hard copy is $200 and the softback is $150. And the same people that I was talking to when it was 40 are now paying $150 because they waited too long. So if you're interested in learning how to trade in the stock market and make money in the market while doing it, get with me. You can hit me up. You can text me on my cell phone. It's 443-619-1665. Or you can hit me on the Facebook. I'm on there as Braxton Tony. And then, DM me and let me know that you're interested in learning more about day trading. If you want to buy the book, that's simple. All you have to do is Cash App or Zelle. You can Zelle to that phone number. But when you Zelle, put in the message your address so I can skip the girls to send a book right out to you. When you Cash App $150 to $fund, FUNDTB 123. You put your address in the comment section and we'll get one right out to you. So happy trading.
All right. Check y'all later. Make sure you check out the book. You check out the podcast. You check out Barcraft Conversations coming. You keep checking in, and we're going to check you later and make sure you keep up to date with everything.
Salute.
Salute.